It's me, Goose. Well, what a wowie zowie, what a week we had. We're closing out July, and it's not taking any any survivors. It's taking no prisoners going on in July here. One of the biggest things that happened this week, outside of us losing Malcolm Jamal Warner, Ozzy Osbourne, and Hulk Hogan, the latter can enjoy hell for all I care. Iron Mouse, who is a big VTuber who worked or was represented by VShojo, said deuces to VShojo after mistreatment, and much like that scene in Howl's Moving Castle where you walk backwards out of the construction, killed VShojo. Completely moon dusted it, as it were, of VShojo, and while simultaneously raising $1 million for the Immune Deficiency Foundation, which is brava, Iron Mouse, brava. May you flourish elsewhere. Hopefully, the people who were affected by VShojo's shenanigans, that's the best way to describe it, will get whatever they need and continue their careers elsewhere. Also, censorship sucks. Censorship sucks major, fat, ugly balls. Man, holy crap. Recently, and I guess it's the continuation of the events that happened in April, but it's now going into its second phase, like it's a goddamn final boss in the RPG. Itchy.io, which has been a oasis for the more, how should I say, lewd developer out there to put their games and works and, stuff up there, recently got, well, hit with the censorship beam, essentially, where they had restricted, removed, and shadow banned a lot of their quote unquote adult titles from view. Mostly because of an independent group based out of Australia called Collective Shout. There's no other way to call this group outside of a bunch of freaking Karens had been snitching all up and down MasterCard and Visa, which are the two top payment processors of the world, to tell them, hey man, we don't like the content being on this website, and we think you should do something about it. And MasterCard, if you know anything about MasterCard and Visa, they don't like the loot stuff. They don't like anything that is in when you sign a little terms of service, whatever on there. They don't like the loot stuff. And this extends to both PayPal, Stripe, you name it. Most online processors kind of go through MasterCard and Visa. And so they came down hard on itch.io, telling them to remove that stuff. And that totally sucks because it meant people who bought said video games, which a lot of people have been reporting, that their bought games, their bought books, you name it, have also been removed from their libraries and are not available for them to play or whatever. Long story short, it's a clusterfuck. It is a clusterfuck of immense proportions because itchy.io was proud of being the platform for not safe work / adult content to be on there and thrive. They enjoyed that. They built their whole bricks on that site. And once again, much like what happened with Tumblr, much like what happened with Patreon, much like what happened with Gumroad, the payment processors, well, they threw their weight around. And so while itch.io is kind of in a rock and a hard place, it sucks for the creators of these said works because now a place that they were able to sell their stuff without having a website, or someplace that had their best chances of getting their works picked up and sell really well because it's a very highly visible site, they lost that avenue. They lost a way of doing that. And that sucks major balls. It sucks. It sucks ass. And I said this on Twitter, if you follow my Twitter, that censorship is not a scalpel. It is a shotgun. Protect it all or fucking lose it all. And I'm right. I'm right. I know people that were cheering back in April when Steam removed the Grape game off their site because who would want to play a game that's about, rape and everything? It's a poorly constructed, terrible game. It's not even worth the hullabaloo that came from it. But the content offends people, which is valid. It's not what you call a family friendly title, but what happened with itchy.io and what's happening to a lot of Steam games even now is the result of censorship. Because, like I said before, censorship is not a scalpel, it's a shotgun. They don't care that you make a cozy farm sim featuring queer characters. A lot of these censorship legislators, a lot of these rule makers, a lot of these companies, they don't like queer content. They don't care how squeaky clean it is. They don't like it. And so 9 times out of 10, when the censorship gets thrown around, it is works done by queer people that are hit the hardest and hit first. And I have to stress this out for a lot of people who may not understand this, that we currently are in a very growing conservative climate, political wise and country wise, where a lot of things are being cut, a lot of things are being canceled. We've already seen what happened with, you know, certain celebrities and certain media on there. It's not been great for a lot of expressions of speech. And art in particular is known to be a very natural human bastion of free speech because you can create it. If you feel it, you can create it. And sometimes it makes work that you may find repellent. It may make work that makes you feel uncomfortable. It may make work that you do not agree with whatsoever. However, it deserves to exist. And that may not be something you want to hear. Because you said, like I said, with the Grave game, why would anyone want to make something like this? Well, no living person was affected by this game at all. It's no one would know about this game in existence unless you purposely knew what it was about and knew that was a thing that appealed to you. But because of its existence and because people didn't like it being created, it led to what we're now currently going with now. So you might ask yourself, well, I'm anti-censorship, but I don't like that content. It triggers me. It's problematic. It's gross. I hate it. That's perfectly fine. I don't like it either. I'm not a big fan of certain works either. I don't want them anywhere near me. Not in a box, not in a box, nowhere. I don't want anything near me. However, because I am a marginalized person, I am black and I am queer. I know for a fact that my work and my work of my friends and my allies who make certain content will always be hit first. Always. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter how benign, doesn't matter how clean it is, doesn't matter, clean in quotes, doesn't matter what it is, it'll be hit first. I think last year there was a manga that came out that was in a library, I think Florida library, and it was removed because the people of the board, the school board, found the content to be inappropriate for kids to read. And the inappropriate stuff in the book was just two guys kissing. Just they weren't doing anything. There wasn't anything inappropriate there. But they didn't want that content to be quote unquote exposed to youthful minds. And that's where censorship leads. That's the final category for censorship, is to remove all content that offends those that are in power. And that just not just includes, LGBTQ stuff. It includes stuff about sexuality, like safe smex. I hate saying that, but it does involve that. It means resources. It means education. It means, blogs that talk about the trans experience, about, surgery scars. It involves, and you guys were on Twitter. I mean, Twitter. You guys were on, yeah, you're on Twitter when a Tumblr ban happened. Female presenting nipples. Okay, that's how stupid that sound. That's what censorship leads. And it doesn't matter if you don't like the content. It doesn't matter if you don't participate in said content. It can affect what content you do like down the road. And my biggest case in point is that the group Collective Shout has been head on crazy going against Detroit Become Human. They've been wanting to get that removed, banned, burned for a while now. And with enough pressure against, game companies, against developers, and throwing in MasterCard and Visa and PayPal and everything else to restrict sales of their platform, they can get it removed. It is possible. They have I include a link in my description where straight up they have a track record of bullying these sites and getting MasterCard and Visa involved to start pulling out support on these sites to get the content removed. And when you get that one content removed, it doesn't just stop at that one thing. It spreads out because now the platform is hyper aware. Oh my gosh, what if they find something else? What if this happens on here? They can't afford to have a lawsuit. They can't afford to lose access to MasterCard and Visa. They have to figure out a way to maintain, because again, making it very clear, for these companies, money is the most important thing. And when your MasterCard and Visa, when you have like a stranglehold on the payment processing of the world, you can get people to do whatever you want. And that extends to small titles like the Grape Game or the Cozy Gay Farm game, and even large titles like GTA 6. And GTA 6 has been in the crosshairs for many years, for decades. This is not a new thing. But now, because of certain things that are in the climate that we're in right now, the very sex negative and conservative and you name it climate going on there, no matter how much money Rockstar and Take-Two have, if MasterCard says, I don't want you to process this game on the PlayStation Store or Xbox or Game Pass, they can restrict sales of GTA 6. And you might be saying, well, we can get the physical copies of that. True, you can get the physical copies of that. But if you haven't noticed, we are very much in a world of downloads. We are in a world where games are being downloaded at a ridiculously high price, at a high speed. So, yeah, while you can physically get GTA 6 on physical copies of it at the store, what if Rockstar decides going forward they don't want to waste money printing out discs? Heck, some of these collector's editions out going on right now don't even have the game disc, they have a code in them. So, you couple in digital only game sales and the two biggest payment processing sites are processors, and a group of Australian Karens who can bully a lot of people, who know who to bully, who know who to get in the pocket with. Nothing is safe. I'm saying that to you as a blanket statement. Nothing is safe. Nothing is protected from here. So if you think, gushing grannies, elderly home ecstasy is the one that's going to be targeted, no, it's everything. If you are a queer person, if you are a queer artist, if you are a minority artist, if you're a marginalized artist, your work will be put in the crosshairs. I don't care if you never drew a titty in your life. Your work can be affected by censorship if they don't want to see it, And so, what I'm trying to get people to understand is that you need to stand firm against anti-censorship. Even if it's work you don't like, even if it's content you don't like, even if it goes against your principles, you have to stand up against it, because it won't stop at that one offending content. It will spread out to things that you do love. And we've already saw currently over in the UK that they passed some sort of law where you have to upload your ID or put your personal information just to access certain sites, that have R18 content on there. And again, R18 content doesn't automatically mean it's, adult lewd stuff. It can mean discussions. It can be language. That's what's affected here. That's what we're going at. We've already, even now in this video, you've heard me try to censor out certain words because it could lead to this video being suppressed in the algorithm. Please like my video. But you see this, and that's what we're encountering right now. If you were on YouTube 15 years ago, you generally could say whatever you want and not have to worry about the algorithm affecting you. But now we have to check our words, change our words, just so we don't wind up having our video being shadow banned or completely demonetized in some cases when you have monetization on your channel. So, yeah, not a great start to the weekend. Not great, but I'm gonna put in both in the video here some links, as well as in my description box some more links where you can read up what's going on, what you can do to help, and how we can try to push back on this. Because again, don't think your titles or your works is too big or too quote unquote clean that it cannot be hit by censorship. It can. It very much can. You are not safe, quote unquote safe, from not being touched by censorship. It will affect you in some way, shape, or form. It may not be now, but it'll be later. A definite later. So, that's it. My name is Goose. I am so tired. I'm just so tired. But I'm gonna drink some water, eat me a cookie, and I'll have a video up about Superman or Fantastic Four sometime this week. So please look forward to it. Thank you all again. Get some rest, kiddos. The fight just started. I'll see you next time. Bye.